Are you tired of awkward silences after your best joke? You're not alone. Humour is one of the most universal, yet the most mysterious parts of being human. Face it, why do we laugh? Why does one joke just land perfectly while another just causes massive groans? That happens to me frequently when I tell jokes. So today on Peace Unplugged, I'm diving deep into the science of comedy, exploring what happens to our brains when we laugh and what the benefits are there. We're going to look at how comedy has evolved through history and why laughter might be the most healthiest thing that we can do. Right then, what is the mystery of why we laugh? Let's start with the brain. Why do we laugh at all? Cognitive sciences call this incredulity. Here's how it works. The setup of a joke creates a clash, sometimes unexpected or contradictory. You're led to believe that one thing's going to happen, yet something else happens instead. See, what happens is the punchline flips the script. Suddenly, the incredulity makes sense, but in a surprising way. And our brains love this. It's like solving a mini puzzle in real time. The aha moment triggers pleasure, surprise, and release. That's the perfect recipe for laughter. But when a joke doesn't land, the puzzle either feels too confusing or it's too predictable. Tends to make us groan. Paradoxically, if I tell a joke and people groan, I actually find that even more funny. But when a joke doesn't land, it's generally when you get that
No.
silence. Yeah, that feeling. Scientists have found that this cognitive, what they call gymnastics, happens mostly right in the prefrontal cortex, part of the brain that creates surprise, damage to that area, and even the best jokes stop making sense. Comedy has always been our mirror, a reflection of what we value, what we question, and also what we fear. In ancient Greece, playwrights like Aristophanes used humour to mock politicians and gods alike. It was satire with a purpose and protection. You could basically critique power without losing your head. Fast forward to Shakespeare's time, when comedy meant telling a story with a happy ending. That was usually ending in marriage. Who were missing? Then came the 20th century and everything changed. Comedy then evolved with technology, radio, film, television. People laughed at characters like Charlie Chaplin with his silent gestures, and also great comedians like the couple Laura and Hardy, who are those two are big favourites of mine. There were then comedians like George Carlin and Lenny Bruce, who used words as weapons to challenge politics, religion, and social hypocrisy. And of course, some of the most famous, the Monty Python Team. Those six men, John Cleese, Michael Palin, Eric Idle, Graham Chapman, Terry Jones, and of course Terry Gilliam. And they broke all the comedy rules. I often think they were inspired by Spike Milligan and the Goon Show. Those pythons took the ordinary and twisted it into the absurd. Think of the Dead Parrot sketch. It's not just nonsense. It's parody and exaggeration and incredulity. And that's just turned into an art form. And what was their genius? Well, they didn't really tell jokes as such. They built absurd words where logic collapses, resulting in laughter as the only response. But here's where laughter gets complex. Comedy reflects culture, and of course, culture changes. What made people laugh a long time ago can make people wince these days. Old routines built on stereotypes and prejudices are now considered outdated, and in some cases actually actively offensive. So we've got to ask the question, where's the line between humour and harm? Comedians like John Cleese argue that modern audiences have become far too sensitive and that political correctness is stifling free speech. The counter-argument to that is that humour without empathy punches down, targeting those already marginalised in our society. And that's the tension at the heart of modern comedy. Freedom of expression versus social responsibility. In an age of social media, judgment can be instant and public. But hey, let's zoom out for a minute, because regardless of the debate, the truth remains laughter is good for us. happens. It's not just an emotional release, it's biology in action. Have you ever come across one of those times when you laugh at something and you're laughing so much that you can barely breathe? You see, when we laugh, our brain releases endorphins, it lowers cortisol, and it even boosts serotonin. It's like hitting a natural reset button for our mood. And there's more. Laughter actually bonds us as humans. From my research, psychologist Dr. Robert Provine called it a social vocalization that binds people together. In other words, shared laughter isn't just about humour, it's about connection. In a world that often feels divided, that one laughter is the one thing that truly connects us. I think that's why visual humour and slapstick works across the whole world in all cultures. So let's celebrate the most divisive form of humour, known as the pun. Some call it lazy, others call it genius. But cognitively, puns use the same brain circuitry as complex jokes, but just in a tighter space, shall we say. So get ready to groan, because I'm going to try out one or two jokes on you. This might make or break your day. This show is about the science of humour, which means I might explain the joke right after ruining it. My friend spends all day playing computer games. I asked him what else he does. He said, I went out once. The graphics weren't all that. Loved them or groaned at them. Puns prove that humour, at its core, is creative problem seeking in disguise. So when we're decoding the absurd brilliance of Monty Python, laughing at dad jokes, and I tell them frequent, or perhaps testing new material at an open mic night, remember this: the act of trying to be funny and the choice to laugh are both uniquely human. They connect us, they heal us, and they remind us not to take life too seriously. So folks, keep laughing. It's good for our brain, it's good for our body, and ultimately it's good for our soul. Thank you for joining this edition of Peace Unplugged. Until the next time, stay curious, keep on laughing.